Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Mick Alphanine. If you could do me a favor and please click that like button, it greatly helps with the algorithm. Thank you. So we're going to jump into an article here. This is on the cryptobasic.com, and it goes as such. Empower Oversight calls for investigation into Hinman's alleged conflict of interest in Ripple versus SEC lawsuit. I was trying to make a video recently, but I had to delete it. I messed that video all up. My goodness. But I was talking about this in that video where I was calling for, not calling for, but I was asking who was going to do something about the alleged SEC corruption. There's no one holding them accountable. Well, I guess there are certain powers trying to hold the SEC accountable. So let's read this little tidbit. And this is very good. I hope that there is an investigation if there was something done wrong. And I hope that if there was something done wrong, that we can remedy that problem. And I think all governmental entities should be able to be investigated and be held accountable for what they do. So let's read this little tidbit here. It says, the independent corruption watchdog mounts pressure on the SEC to investigate Hinman's conflict of interest during his time at the agency. Now, see that and right there, that sentence doesn't make any sense to me. And now, see, you can't expect an organization to investigate itself. You can't expect an organization to hold itself accountable. There's too many friendships. There's too many relationships. There's too much money changing hands. And if there's corruption in one part of the organization, then more times than not, there's corruption in the rest of the organization. You need an external body to do the investigation. You need an external body to say, hey, hand over all your documents, all your footage, all your flash drives, thumb drives, hard drives, hand over everything. We want to see everything, and we have a team ready, and we're going to comb over it. This should not be something too difficult for the United States government, which is taking taxes from the people. I mean, it's basically robbery. How much taxes they're taking from the people and using it for all sorts of senseless and silly projects. You can use it for something like this. And then the people of the United States, what are you doing? You just let them take your tax money. They send it all over the world, by the way, and give you very, very little help. That's a fact. And yet they don't use it on things like this, and they're supposed to serve you. They're public servants. Has everyone forgotten that? Meanwhile, the government rules over everybody like kings and gods. Is no one else tired of this? They're not kings and gods or queens. They're public servants. They're supposed to serve the best interests of the people. But what they're doing now, and listen, it's hard to hear, but it's the truth. Look at all these entry-level government workers, right? You know, these entry-level congressmen, entry-level senators. So many of them are millionaires. Why? Why are they millionaires? They're selling books here and there. Who's buying these books? What story do they have to tell? $200,000 a plate for certain dinners? Listen, well, what I'm saying is they're serving themselves. They're making themselves rich. You cannot expect them to investigate themselves. You need a counterbalance. You need an external entity. The people of the United States, the people of the West should demand it. But instead, they're just sitting back. Hey, listen, they can do whatever they want, I guess, right? If you want to go down with the Titanic and listen to the sweet, sweet sounds of the saxophone players while the Titanic sinks, so be it. But I'm not doing that. But unfortunately, there's only a handful of us making phone calls to the government, trying to hold them accountable, letting them know how we feel, what we want done. We're fighting the good fight, but there's only a few of us. So then if that's going to be the case, then people shouldn't cry later if the individuals who are fighting now and building now, if later on when the so-called house is burning to the ground, then the rest of the people can't cry when those people who fought and built at that time decide to move on to a house that's not burning. You get what I'm saying? They shouldn't cry then. Let's read this little tidbit here and see where they're going with this. The independent corruption watchdog mounts pressure on the SEC to investigate Hinman's conflict of interest during his time at the agency. Empower and Oversight, a leading nonprofit corruption watchdog, is calling for, okay, you're not going to do the investigation? This is what I'm talking about. Calling for an investigation into the ethics failure of a former employee of the Securities Exchange Commission's ethics office that allegedly caused severe losses to it. It didn't allegedly, it did. It did cause exponential losses. They cheated people out of generational wealth. People sold their XRP and they went running for the hills, and they're not coming back. Some may come back, but most of them are not coming back. And most of them are not financially able anymore to get back in because your government has taken actions that are making the people suffer right now. What did they say? The Fed is in charge of keeping inflation down. The Fed is in charge also of printing excess money, and the Fed did print excess money. The Fed did everything wrong. No one calls them out for it. They did everything wrong. It's incomprehensible how badly they've managed everything. That's why a lot of people believe that it's on purpose. And yet the people once more sit back and they pretend that these politicians who are, my goodness, I'm trying to find the right words without going overboard. But these individuals are just, I can't even say they're like you and I, because some of them don't have that type of intellectual prowess. They just don't. They talk very nice or very persuasively, and they gain votes that way, not based on their intellect, not based on a track record. They make good relationships. It's about who they know, not what they've done. The rest is history. Horrible monetary policy. So yes, a lot of people who sold their XRP will not be able to get back in because at that time they had money to have XRP. Now they've been wrecked by life, by the governments, monetary policy, inflation. We're in stagflation. I told you all that, right? Now you have politicians all over the world talking about stagflation. So they can't get back into XRP. So to say allegedly caused severe losses, that's ridiculous. And you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself. That's right. Some of us are fighters. That's right. We're not going to lay back and just take it. And let me tell you something else. And this is another reason they don't want us to have generational wealth, because they know there is a new age on the horizon, a new power that will rise, a new council. We'll talk about that another time. We'll talk about that another time. William Hinman, the former director of the SEC's corporate finance, has been accused of having a conflict of interest while he worked at the commission. We literally were able to read the documents. This was like earlier this year. I'm pretty sure one of the lawyers or the SEC had to put this out. This their documents. We literally read another entity, regulatory body, a member of a regulatory body, telling Hinman that what that person was doing was illegal. We read it. That was a fact. My goodness, made my voice go high. That's how unbelievable this is, in my humble opinion. I'm not asking you guys to feel the same at all, okay? I respect your opinions. I respect your emotions. Unlike the governments, I'm not trying to control your mind. Unlike a lot of other individuals, I'm not here to tell you what to do and control you like you're a puppet. No, be free. I'm here to set you free if I can do anything. And if I can't do that, hey, at least I pass a good moment with you. A good moment with you. Show you some respect. Right? According to documents published by Empower Oversight, Hinman was alleged to have a financial interest in a law firm, Simpson Thacher, a partner at Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, EEA, during his time at the SEC. Okay, so if you have the documents, it's not alleged. If you have the documents, that's facts. My goodness, that's factual information. That's another, the corruption is so deep. You know, listen, and I was reading a document the other day. United States is following directly in the footsteps of Rome. Have you ever read on the History Channel? I think it's on historychannel.com. They have like 8 different subjects on why Rome fell. And the United States meets almost all of those criteria. Corruption of the government, military overspending, overreach. They spread themselves out thin. They divided themselves into extreme polarizing parties. There was a great power that rose in the East. Yes. And then Rome fell. There's other variables, of course. But the United States meets all of that. People better be careful. as the West declines. They better be careful. Have a love for yourself and your family. You don't have to have a love for, and I hate to say this, but if the cycle is birth, growth, endurance, right, or rather duration and death, then the cycle always repeats itself. So you have to ask yourself, what point in the cycle are we in now within the West, within the United States? And it seems that it is in the decline phase, and the decline phase leads to the death, the destruction of that particular cycle, or that particular duration of the cycle, however you're going to put that. But if that's the case, people better brace themselves. And I understand hoping for the best, prepare for the worst is what I'm saying. People can do whatever they want, but you can't get around the inevitability of what is to come. That's why they're racing towards these new technologies. It's not because they love them. It's not because they just want to innovate and help everyone. That's paint on the face and taking on a certain visage so that you can maintain this air of I'm still in charge. We know what we're doing. No, you don't. They don't know what they're doing. They don't want to do this. They have to do this. Right. So, okay. So let's continue on from here. My goodness. The nonsense. There's a balance to everything, I suppose. There are those who stand on the side of truth and those who stand on the side of falsehood. Up, down, left, right, sun, moon. Everything is in perpetual balance. Like and unlike are the same in nature, but differ in degrees. So I understand that as well. Everything differs in degrees. I understand that completely. Here we have another article on u.today. So I was just, I like to remind myself sometimes of the reconciliation of opposites, right? It brings a lot of things into perspective, and to understand how that pendulum of rhythm goes back and forth between, the negative and the positive. It is postulated that the pendulum oftentimes starts at the negative, swings towards the positive, and then there is a resetting. I mean, we could go much deeper into that, but so that means that even though you go so far, this, a certain distance into the positive, doesn't mean you necessarily have to go that equal distance back into the negative, as there is a resetting of the rhythm of life, so to speak, right? But we can discuss that another time, possibly in the members only section. This is from u.today. XRP lawsuit, Ripple scores minor win on this dash details. Okay, let's look at what's going on here. Let's get up to date. We took 2 days off. Ripple gained a small victory in its pursuit of protection for non-parties that appear in the Daubert challenge motions, as the SEC indicated no objection to its motions. I think that's logical. Now, the SEC wanted redactions also. They wanted certain parties' names removed also, protected also, however you want to put that. So it only makes sense for them to go along with this without objection, so later they can say, see, we allow them to block out people's names. We should be allowed to do the same. This is chess, everyone. It's just chess moves. So while it is a minor victory, it is one that's being allowed without objection for a strategic reason. So the battle continues on. We fight the long war. We fight the long battle. And may we take this victory over these individuals and come into generational wealth. And then the party will begin in many ways. Many people have, there will be so much going on if it's not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I don't want to be. But if we come into generational wealth, there will be those who ride off into the sunset, have a great life. There will be those who have options that they need to utilize because they want to move to this country or that country, buy land in other countries, real estate in other countries. Like, they will diversify and they will be free beyond measure. And there are those who will fight the negative, and some people would even say the evil powers of the world, because they were born to do that. They were born to rise to power, to prominence, and then go against, because there's a balancing to everything. Just because it's day does not mean, just because it's night does not mean it's always going to be night. The sun rises sooner or later, and that rising sun, so to speak, could be the people that come into generational wealth and now go against the corrupt bodies that have had the power for so long. I don't know if I'm being eloquent in that, but there are some people right now, they were born to be heroes. There's some people right now, they were born to be warriors on that battlefield. And they will use that power to the best of their ability to do a little bit of good before they get out of here. Yes, yes. So, okay, let's move on from this article here. That wasn't much. That wasn't much. We need a little bit more sustenance. And here we have it. This is on cryptonomist.ch. We haven't covered an article from them in a long time. They're doing a great job. Make sure you check them out. Support the good people in the world that are bringing you good information. It says the article is titled "Banks Increasingly Relying on Blockchain." You hear that? Increasingly relying on blockchain. Remember last year, I told people we were going to dominate the banks, and we are. I told people they need us, and they do. I told people they can't survive without us, and they can't. Their system is dying. It's on fire. I know you want to believe in that system. I know you want to hold firm to it. And you can. I can respect that. But remove the veil from your eyes. You must. If you want to see what's really happening. Everything rises and falls. Things are born and they die. The system is falling. The system is dying. I know in school they massage your brain and your mind to make you believe. The systems were built by superior minds. They can't fail. It will be like it was the last 3 generations. Don't worry. We're only going up. The technology is increasing. Human error is also increasing. Human error. Human corruption. As things become easier based on technology, so too does it become easier to do things the wrong way. Humans have been beaten down across the world, spiritually and mentally. So the fight has decreased over time as well. As technologies have increased, the fight within humanity has decreased. They have accepted the rulership of the governments. And I'm not telling you not to accept it. I'm just saying that because of that, corruption has been able to run rampant as the people don't have time to fight. They're worried about going to work. They're worried about raising little Timmy and little Sarah. They're worn out at the end of the day. They're tired. They want to lay on the couch. They don't have time to battle this senator, battle this congressman, call them on the phone, take meetings with them. They don't have time. And those at the top, they see that. Nobody's watching us. Nobody's watching the money. And they are enriching themselves instead of enriching the people. And that lends toward the fall of a civilization. They won't see it then because, like many others, the corrupt ones have blinders on their eyes. They don't see the cliff that they are marching toward. But you don't have to march toward it with them. Banks increasingly relying on blockchain. A WSJ report explains how traditional banks, despite not yet embracing cryptocurrencies, my goodness. I have a laugh at statements like that. Yes, they are. Yes, they are embracing cryptocurrencies. They're embracing the bank coins. 100%. Are you going to tell me that it's not embracing them to sit in hundreds of meetings with them? Are you going to tell me it's not embracing them by allowing them to make hundreds of presentations for you? Are you telling me that it's not embracing them to allow them to sit on advisory councils for you? Keep in mind, Ripple, who's using XRP, is on the advising council of the International Monetary Fund. My goodness, if they embraced Ripple and the bank coins anymore, they'd be lovers. How much more of an embrace do you need? Oh, I forgot. Yeah, everything is Bitcoin. Oh, my apologies. See, to the lay person out there, the article writers and such like that don't want to really do too much research. Everything is Bitcoin. And since the banks haven't embraced Bitcoin and Ethereum, they haven't embraced crypto. Be careful. See, you have to be careful with that type of thinking. That's how you cheat yourself out of money. Not doing that research. That's how you cheat yourself out of generational wealth. But to each his own. Everyone has their own path to walk. Only a select few will come into this generational wealth. And I can't wait, by the way. I'm very excited. I can't wait. There's a lot I want to do. And I'm not normal by any means. At all. I don't think I want to ride off into the sunset. No, I don't. I don't. My father raised me to be a warrior. There's a war to fight. There's a battle. I think I might want to, be a little bit heroic. This is my pathway, not yours. I'm not telling you to do these things, but someone has to fight for the children. See, I remember when I was a child, how the school systems were. They're terrible, horrible, across the board. They want to tell you what to think and what to do and what to feel. That's not what school's supposed to be. Education's supposed to set you free, fill you with wisdom, cultivate that which you are great at. It doesn't do that anymore. It tells you what to do, what to think, what to feel, building robots. No. Some of us are going to try to enact changes when we come into generational wealth, to allow the new age of brilliant minds to step forward and carve out their own path, that they are not covered in a dark shadow of those who came before them. No, an age of freedom. That's what maybe somebody like me might want to go out fighting for. Don't worry, there'll be many people, they're going to buy their Lambos, they're going to have a great time, they're going to throw parties. But some of us were born to be heroes. And soon comes, in my humble opinion, just my humble opinion, you could disagree, I respect that, but soon comes an age of heroes again. Our chance, warriors, our chance to make the changes that we know need to be made. Our changes to fight the corruption that needs to be fought. And yes, many of us will lose and fall. There is no true losing. No, we were born for this. We were born for this. This moment, you felt it. That's why you stepped in the ring and you fought. Well, the fight didn't. That was just the beginning. The fight didn't end there. Let's go back to this article. I know. Alphanim, sometimes you're too intense. I'm a lot of different things, at different times, depending on how I feel. Sometimes I like to crack a lot of jokes, have some fun. Sometimes I'm intense. It depends. Every day is different. Sometimes I'm filled with wisdom. I love it. I let the cycle naturally flow. Everyone has their cycles, mental cycles, spiritual cycles, however you want to put it. Right? Be you. You have to be yourself. Be free. Banks and blockchain between traditional finance and DeFi. Lloyd Blankfein, senior chairman of Goldman Sachs, had in turn echoed him saying, quote, "Something that moves 20% overnight does not look like a currency. It is a vehicle for perpetrating." Like, my goodness. Look. Oh, these people are so negative, but at the same time, they hate what they need. They hate what they need, but they have to use it because they need it. Love and hate, right? So we have to look at the reconciliation of opposites. This is a law. Reconciliation. Opposites are the same in nature, but differ in degree. Hate and love. I know this is going to be hard to hear for a lot of people, but those who are adepts, you understand what I'm saying. Those who are wise understand what I'm saying. Hate and love are the same thing. They just differ in degree. Just think throughout your life how easily some love has turned to hate, and how, even though rare at times, through great will and application of the will within the mind, hate can also be turned to love. They go back and forth easily. They are the same thing. They differ in degrees. Where does hate end and love begin? And where does love end and hate begin? Two opposite ends of the same pole. So we see this in the banking system now. They need it, but they hate it. But they love the fact, although it's going to go unsaid, they love the fact that the bank coins are going to save them. It says in a very recent report, the Wall Street Journal explained how major investment banks are turning to blockchain. So here in the quotes above, they have them saying negative things about blockchains. And then you have here in the very next paragraph, or two paragraphs later, says in a very recent report, the Wall Street Journal explained how major investment banks are turning to blockchain to evolve their services and make transactions faster and cheaper and more secure. From what we can tell, according to the report, payments are the first and foremost use case. Keep that in mind, because everyone else, there's so many people lately talking about what are the other use cases for the bank coins other than, how did they put this? Payments. Do they have a use case other than payment? It doesn't matter. That's what's going to bring the generational wealth. We're here to get to the money. We're not here to fall in love with crypto. We're here to get the value from crypto, and then you can do whatever you see fit. You can do whatever you please. Payments are the first and foremost use case of blockchain for banking and finance. There you have it. Although I do keep in mind, they want smart contracts. The Bank of International Settlements already said that. They made that very clear. When it comes to blockchain finance, central and commercial banks around the world are now leveraging this new technology in terms of payment processing. And there you have it, the declaration that the new financial system is not near, it's here. It's not near, it's here. Tick tock, tick tock. It's just a matter of time. That's it. It's just a matter of time. You will be tested. Everyone will be tested. Their patience will be tested. The strength of their minds will be tested. The strength of their hearts will be tested. And I'm going to pass the test. I always wanted to be the strongest or amongst the strongest. And by the time we get there, 3 to 5 years from now, but actually when we read those documents, it was last December. So let's say 3 to 5 years from the beginning of this year. By the time we get there, yes, many will fall. And that's okay. That's perfectly fine. But I want to be in that last bit that makes it over the finish line and comes into generational wealth. Like coming out of the darkness, the greatest, horrifying, sad night into glorious day. That's what I want. Everything that we have said has been coming to pass. We have done good work here. And the future looks brilliant. Let's hope it stays that way and everything stays on course. Blockchain enables faster and more transparent and straightforward transactions. We already know that. We know how great it is. We know what it can do. It's just a matter of certain rogue elements being defeated now. It's not just the SEC. The SEC is just the face of those rogue elements. But we are fighting the good fight. Let's move on to this article here. So we'll end off with a little bit of XDC news here. So XDC has been making major movements this year. You've seen them have meetings with individuals from the governments. They've had meetings from individuals with the central banks. They've also they've had an entire article written by the World Economic Forum. So the World Economic Forum loves XDC. And what did I say before? When the World Economic Forum loves you, you're going to win. So now you have XDC has a card. They're going to be able to be used. You're going to be able to spend your value from XDC on a Visa card. And they retweeted this here from Garda.com. Let me see if I can pull up the tweet. Nope, I don't have the tweet. But you can use this card. And I think this is going to be very good when it comes to, of course, they're specializing in trade finance, but those individuals are going to be holding giant pools of XDC. So sometimes you may not want to convert that to, like, let's say you're an executive or something like that, or you work for a company. You may not want to always take the extra step to convert it to fiat in order to use it, right? Or convert it onto a fiat card, however that works. No, you can just use this card here to use that value outright, right? Sort of like what people do with the Coinbase card or Uphold card, where you can spend your USDC is automatically converted to fiat when you initiate that particular transaction. So this is very, very good. It gives you not really you, but it gives entities and individuals one more way to utilize the value that they may have stored in XDC. Of course, this is going to happen with all of the bank coins, in my humble opinion, so that value can be used outright, so that there is no halting of the accessibility of that particular value, right? You want to be able to use that at any time. That's one of the best parts about the bank coins. So, because would you believe that I actually have, let's count how many articles I didn't get to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 articles I didn't even get to. But I have a good time talking to you all, so sometimes I get very passionate. I have a lot of thoughts to share, and then it wind up being a 30-minute video as such. I don't want to keep you all day, but maybe what I'll probably do is make a members only video either later today or tomorrow and release that. It'll be exclusively for them based on these articles here. So I'll try to work on that. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.